Now, like I say, we celebrate what's good about Fresno and the Valley and the state. And our next guest is Alexis Newlin, and she's all over. She's got a podcast. You can hear her all over the world. Is that right?
Yeah, you can.
So we're celebrating what's good about Fresno. And Alexis lives, I don't know if I should tell you, it's close enough to walk here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people listen to you from everywhere. Can you tell who's listening, by the way?
Yeah, so I'm hosted on Buzzsprout, and so they give you like a link to see where everybody's listening, and it's crazy. Someone listened to me in Europe, which was like, I was amazed. I was like, wow. Like,
Buzzsprout.
Buzzsprout, yeah, it's a hosting platform for podcast.
Now, we have that too here. I could look and see who's watching. I think, why would somebody from Japan, and why would somebody from here, why would somebody from there? But sometimes I guess they're searching our topics and pops up and they watch our shows. So
Definitely, yeah.
it's exciting to get like your international. Now.
Yeah, it is. It's like I would never think.
Now your podcast is called Peach and Callie?
No, it's called The Brave Podcast.
The Brave Podcast.
Yeah.
But you're the Peach and Callie.
Yeah.
You're from Georgia.
I'm from Georgia,
Georgia Peach.
Yeah.
And why is the Brave Podcast? Tell us about it.
So the funny thing is I'm a writer, and writers usually like to be like behind their words. Like you don't like to be in front of people or like have your voice out there. And to be quite honest, I was praying about it, and God said, you should start a podcast. And so I'm like, okay. And so I'm a cancer survivor, have stage 4 thyroid cancer. And when I got diagnosed, I looked at my life and how fear was affecting my life and decided to kind of conquer things that scared me and look into what bravery was. And for me, like bravery is doing things afraid no matter what it looks like. Yeah. And so kind of went on this journey to like go to Italy by myself and travel and start writing more and then start this podcast. And so what I started doing is interviewing people who've gone through something that is really difficult in their life and seeing how they've come on the other side of it. And so most of my guests have either dealt with like a tragedy or have had a hardship or are writers and dealing with that. And they just kind of share their story to kind of encourage other people.
That's awesome. Now, and I was going to say that it's not especially, well, it helps you and it helps your guests because they talk about it. It's always good to talk about it. But all these other people who are going through stuff can hear you and say, wow, what I got, my struggle's nothing compared to what they're doing.
Yes, exactly.
So that's awesome. So now, to listen to you, and I was telling you before, people my age don't always have the ability to find podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
But where do they find yours? Just at Buzzsprout?
No, Buzzsprout is the hosting platform, and you can listen there. We all get a website and we go through Buzzsprout, but you can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, which is the biggest place for podcasts. There's like over 750,000.
And they can find yours on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, you have to search and a bunch of brave ones will pop up, but then you'll see my face and my logo and you'll know it's me. You can go on Google Podcast, TuneIn is Amazon service. You can go all over. Okay. They're everywhere.
And you're listening on your phone, right? Is that the main idea? Okay.
Yeah, that's the nice thing.
And so look for the Brave Podcast. And how will you know you found it? Well, you'll see Alexis' picture, which you see here on our screen now. Yeah. And that'll help you tell that from another Brave Podcast. Now, how long have you been doing this?
Honestly, 6 months.
6 months, okay. Well,
yeah.
Good. Now, any great stories, great guests, or that you could tell us about? Wow. Oh, they were all great.
They're all really great.
Put you on the spot
here. I'm trying to think, wow, was that my favorite guest?
You can't say favorite, because then all the others will be disappointed.
I'm trying to think of, like...
So most of them, what kind of difficulties have the people overcome?
A lot of it's fear-based. So people who've dealt with the fear and have come on the other side of it. I just talked to someone today who talked about a heavy topic like sexual assault and talking about what that was like and how it affected her life and then how she found God and how it improved her life after that. One of my absolute favorite guests, I'm trying to think, there's so many that I've done now. One of my friends, this is when I first started, I went to her house and podcasted my friend Katie, who is a musician, and just kind of talking about how she became a musician and kind of conquering that. Her cats went off in the background, and it was just my favorite thing because, like with podcasts, sometimes you can't edit out everything, and I just thought to leave that in. I thought it was so funny, just these cats going at it. But
well, we've learned here after 12 years of Central Valley Talk, don't edit anything. You spend half your life editing. We just go and put it on and see what happens.
It makes it more authentic.
Now, tell me about fear. People need to face the fear.
Yeah, fear is like the worst thing out there. It's worse than any virus. It's worse than just anything because it's contagious and it can really stop you from doing things that you're meant to do. Like some people, like for me, for instance, if I was scared and decided I'm too scared to do a podcast, I'd have never done it, and I would have never met you. People who choose to be writers, if they're afraid to write and people don't like their words, if they never conquer it, then they would never be out there.
Well, you say your friend was on who was a musician. I was a musician, and I practiced for years. I got a master's degree in music, so I'm getting pretty good at this thing. And then I had to perform.
Yeah.
And which was a little scary, like little recitals. And then I go play at restaurants, and it was scary because all these people. But after you play in a restaurant, people are eating and talking and busy. You realize, they're not really listening. So you get over the fear.
Yeah.
Then they put you on a giant stage with thousands of people watching. It's a whole new fear, and something you have to face and get past.
Definitely.
A lot of people just don't get places
past
because
it.
they can't get past the fear.
Yeah.
So I bet it's good to have a podcast where people talk about that.
Yeah.
Getting over the fear, facing the fear.
Yeah.
Now, do people listen to you live, or you do it live and then you put it out? And
I do it live and then I put it out there. I guess I'm not brave enough to do a live one yet. I want to.
Well, here you are on a live
Yeah.
broadcast. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, I eventually want to do some live ones because that's just fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you say this Buzzsprout comes with a website. What is the website?
So mine is like a buzzsprout.com, and then it has the Brave podcast like in
The Brave Podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Buzzsprout.com.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's hosted, and
Probably
then
the Brave Podcast. And what about, is there other ways people could follow you? Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah. Instagram, so all my podcast writing things is under A Peach and Callie. I have a website called apeachandcallie.com that you can find me, and that has like my writing services, my podcasting services, and my podcast and writing hosted there. And then Instagram is A Peach and Callie, and then Facebook A Peach and Callie as well.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you about your writing services, because we have a whole show on here called Authors and Artists.
Ooh, okay.
And I have a saying, a lot of people who've written books come on the show every week, and I have this saying that, well, anybody could write a book, but few people could finish writing a book.
Yeah.
So is that something you would take on, a project like that, helping somebody finish?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's hard. Sometimes the biggest thing writers face is one fear, and then also like just getting stuck and like not knowing like how to like work out how to get their book out. And so just kind of sitting with them and helping with editing. Editing is what sticks me. Like I start editing while I'm writing, and you shouldn't do that. You're supposed to write and then go back and edit.
Go back and edit.
And so kind of just helping someone develop a process to get their book out is.
Well, you can help them develop the process. Yeah, that's the thing, is how to sit down and do it. And probably, sit down so many hours a day, don't edit. Put down whatever comes.
And write. That's the thing.
If you're a writer, you write. I tell my kids this. I say, if you're a musician, that means you're playing music. You should be playing it every day.
Yes.
That's what musicians do. If you're a baseball player, play baseball every day. If you're a writer,
write every day.
Write every day.
Just set some time, even 5 minutes. It'll help.
It has changed, though, because now there's computers and stuff. In my day, when I went to college, there's no computers.
I couldn't imagine. Typewriters and handwriting, pretty much.
I'm just reading a book about Barack Obama, and he wrote a book before he became president. He had all these yellow pads full of his notes and writing and stuff. I can't imagine writing that way, but in the day, a lot of people
That's what you did.
Huh?
Yeah, that would be really rough.
Yeah.
To handwrite everything. Yeah.
Anyway, the Brave Podcast, and you can find it anywhere you find your podcast.
Yeah.
It's done by Peachy Production.
That's my podcast editing that I've started. I found through
Oh, you're going to help other people then.
Yes,
That's
too.
Right.
Yeah, so I found that through podcasting, I really like doing this. It's really fun to like help put content out there and to edit it and to just promote it. And so it's a new services that I'm offering.
So if somebody wants to have a podcast, they can start by contacting you.
Yep.
And where will they do that? At your website?
On my website, and then you'll go under podcast production, and there's my face, and it tells you what services I offer.
And again, what's the website?
apeachandcallie.com.
apeachandcallie.com. By the way, if you don't write this down, if you can't find her, you don't know how to find her, call me at Central Valley Talk or send us a message. I'll give you her contact info. She lives up the street. I'll point her house out to you. I won't do that, I promise. Anything else our viewers should know before we're out of time?
No, thank you for listening and having me on.
Well, we want to have you on again and again.
Yeah.
And anybody you help start podcasts or writers you're helping, send them over here to be on our shows too.
Definitely.
And as we meet people that are trying to overcome fears,
Yeah.
or have overcome fears, or want to talk about that, we'll have them go be on your show.
That would be great, yeah.
Great collaboration born
Definitely.
here. Our guest is Alexis Newlin, the Brave Podcast. The website's at peachandcallie.com. And we will be right back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.
Thank you.